What's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. If you're tuning in today, then you're looking to get some help on dating. Well, you're in luck today. I'm going to share with you 10 tips to help make dating a little less difficult for you. So let's get into it. I just thought I'd let you know that you received an email from a viewer asking if you were going to do any videos on dating. An email? I got an email from a viewer? Fantastic. What's it about? The viewer says, I have been trying to find guys to date and there doesn't seem to be any good guys in my area. How can I find better guys and how do I talk to them? Why is dating so hard? Signed, Painful Dating in Painesville. What do you think? Well, Painful in Painesville, you're in luck. We just happen to have a video that may help in this situation. Roll that gay dating footage. Dating is hard and there's no denying that. Do we make it more difficult than it really needs to be? Is finding someone really that hard? And how can we make it more easy on ourselves? Well, you're in luck. I have 10 tips that you can use to make dating a little less difficult. So let's get to it. Number 1, know what you want. Now, I realize this sounds simple, but that doesn't mean it's not true. That simple phrase runs a gamut of possibilities. Do you know what kind of relationship you're looking for? Are you wanting to date around, or are you looking for something a little more serious? Do you know what kind of guy you're looking for? Are you looking for someone who can make you laugh, or someone who can be your rock and is that solid stoic figure? Do you know yourself? Do you know what you like and dislike? What turns you on and what doesn't? Are you willing to change yourself to be with someone else, or do you think that the other person should change to be with you? If we can't answer these questions honestly, then we can't start to look for a relationship. It's kind of the key beginning for it. We have to accept the hard truths of ourselves before we can ever hope anybody else can accept them. We also have to know what we're looking for before we can ever start to find it. No one can simply go into a journey and just hope that they land in the right place. I mean, heck, look at Bilbo Baggins. Even he knew what he was getting into before he signed his name to that contract, joined Thorin and his crew, and headed towards the Misty Mountains. He simply just didn't walk out the door and go, let's go. So take some time, get to learn yourself, and understand what it is you're looking for before you start meeting new people. Also, in knowing what you want, you have to be comfortable with the fact that you're already single. If you're only looking for a relationship to fill a void or because you think you have to be in one, then you're not ready for a relationship. Look at yourself a little deeper. Look at the qualities that you expect in a person and look at the things in you that you like. Those should be the determining factors to move ahead with dating. Number 2, stop saying that you need to start dating and just start dating. It's as simple as that. You can sit around all day long and talk about how you need to get out there and start looking for someone, but until you actually take those steps, you're not any closer to your goal. I get it, dating is difficult, but if you're constantly looking at it as a chore, you're never going to get there. So a way to get beyond these points is to ask the so what question. So for example, you say gay dating is a chore. Your next response should be, so what? If it's a chore, then it won't be fun. So what? So if it's not fun, you might as well sit at home. So what? Well, if you sit at home, you're going to be single and lonely, and that's counterproductive to everything else that you were doing. So what? So what are you going to do? I mean, after all, what's stopping you? This is the point where you make an active change in your life and you start doing it. Number 3, date outside of your preferences. We all have types of people that we like, and a lot of those are imprinted upon us by societal conditioning from the time that we were a child. You grew up in a predominantly white area. You're only faced with seeing white people, and when you start dating, you only have white people to date. So it becomes this preference in your head that you're only attracted to white men. Why is that the case? Have you ever stopped to look at other options? And also look at it this way. If you're always complaining that the relationships you're in never seem to go where you're wanting to, then maybe it's because of the type of person that you're constantly trying to date. This is the point where you need to make that change. Look for somebody different. And remember, labels are best suited for clothes, not for people. I know this is a challenging one because we all need labels to put definition on things that we know and understand. Even more so when you're gay. We deal with bears and twinks. We deal with tops and bottoms. We deal with butch and femme. The problem with these labels is we don't actually get to know the person behind them. We make a snap judgment based on what we see or what we understand, and we discount that person. You could be missing the person that is going to shape your world simply because they may be a bottom twink, and it's not something you normally go for. Number 4, consider how you're meeting guys. I can't tell you how many times I hear people in this area say, Cleveland sucks for dating guys, that there's no good gay men out there. Everywhere I turn, all I'm meeting is bad people. So the question becomes, where are you meeting these people? Many people turn to dating apps or online dating sites to find their mates. And while it's good to whip out your phone because it's the closest thing you have, it's not the most reliable source for meeting someone. After all, pictures lie, people lie, profiles lie. How many times have you been on Grindr and someone has put up a picture of who they're supposed to be with this profile that makes it sound great, and you start talking to the person and you realize he's not who he said he was? Maybe it's time to step away from things like Grindr or Bumble or any of the various other apps. After all, these are primarily used as a hookup source, and if you're not looking for a hookup, then they're not really going to be advantageous for you. There's a new trend amongst people that are looking for partners to go to Instagram. And you're wondering, well, why would you want to be an internet stalker on Instagram? Well, if we look at some of the obvious choices, Instagram gives you a snapshot of somebody's life. Here you have people that are putting up photos of their day-to-day routine. You'll see them out at a park, running, walking their dog. They're out at a local restaurant they enjoy eating their favorite meal. While it seems a little pervy to sit there and constantly spam their pictures with that nice heart-eyed emoji, it at least allows you to see someone in a different aspect, in a more truer sense of who they are. And you can start out as just liking their photos. You may end up liking this person. Then you're getting to see the real side of them. Now, I'm not advocating that you go out there and start stalking people on Instagram. I'm just saying take a look at it as an alternative to your normal dating route. I'm curious as to what apps you use in your dating recommendations. Hit me up in the comments below and let me know the ones that you've used, and even share some stories that you may have found on them. Was the date a good turnout or was it a bad turnout? And speaking of the fake profiles that we constantly see out there on Grindr, number 5, FaceTime, Zoom, and video conferences, oh my. Just because you see someone online who has a pic of them rocking six-pack abs, their profile is filled with all the buzzwords that make you feel warm and gooey inside, doesn't mean that that's actually the kind of person that they are. Surprise, surprise, people lie online. It's amazing to think about, I know, but nonetheless, it's the truth. We've all been suckered online. We see this profile that has these awesome pictures. You start talking to the person, you swap pictures, and the pictures look amazing, only to get to the place that you're meeting and the person is 10 years older than the picture they showed, at least 20 to 50 pounds overweight, and look nothing like what they showed you. We shouldn't be making judgments based on the outward appearances, but nonetheless, it's a shocking thing. So how do we overcome this? Well, when you're out there talking to these people and it comes to the point where you're getting ready to set up a date, why not do a mini date online first? FaceTime, Zoom, any of the video conferencing apps that are out there are great ways to actually see the person you're talking to. Okay, I get it. You're thinking that if you do this, the first thing that's going to happen is the dude's going to whip out his dick and it's going to turn into a jerk-off contest. You have the control at this point. You can stop that from happening. It gives you a means to be able to see the person, and if that's where it turns, then you know that this guy probably isn't what you were looking for if you're looking for a long-term relationship. If you were simply looking for someone on camera to do that with, then bingo, you just scored the extra points and you're ready to go. Number 6, stop comparing him to other people you have dated. This sets an unrealistic bar for meeting people. If you're trying to base every new instance on someone that you've dated in the past, you're only setting yourself up for failure. If this was one of the best relationships you had and it ended for whatever reason, you're not going to find that person again. That's not going to happen. And to hold someone to the level of what that person was is also unfair. After all, how would you feel if they were judging you based on other people that they knew? If they were looking at your face and categorizing your looks based on someone they dated in the past? Or if you're being intimate with each other, they're scoring your sex life based on somebody else they've been with. It's not a nice thing to think about being judged on yourself, so why would you in turn want to elicit that back to someone else? After all, if the person that you're comparing them to is an ex, they're an ex for a reason. They're out of your life and it's time to look for something that's better, something that's different. So you want to learn more about people and you're wondering how you can do that easily. Remember not to ask close-ended questions. The best way to know someone or get to know someone is to ask things that are open-ended, something that doesn't require a one-word answer or a yes or a no. Do you like the color blue? No. Well, what do you do with that? If blue's your favorite color and they just said no, you've got nowhere to lead that question to. The same goes with what's your favorite food. If they answer Chinese, that leaves this host of other options inside of the Chinese menu that may or may not be their favorite. And you're left there ticking off options until you find the one that works. This is where open-ended questions are a better avenue. My boyfriend loves to ask me questions to learn more about me in this style. So he'll ask things that are basically icebreaker questions. Things like, when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grow up? It lets you know more about the person than you will get from simply saying, is blue your favorite color? Number 7, trust your judgment. I cannot stress this enough. We don't give ourselves credit, at least when it comes to certain avenues, and dating is usually one of them. Sure, we'll be driving and we'll get this feeling that something's going to happen and we'll swerve out of the way or we'll take a different route home and we're trusting our gut. Or we're out shopping and we're trying to think, should I buy this new shirt or should I buy groceries? And we trust our judgment on that. But when it comes to new people that we're meeting, especially when we're in the dating realm, we don't want to trust what we're feeling at that time. We're hoping that maybe you're just reading into something that can change or that you can change them. These are not the way to progress. If you've got the feeling that this is not the relationship for you, you're not obligated to stay with them. You're not obligated to hang around. You're just meeting someone. If you get these feelings from someone that you've just met, you're not obligated to hang around. You don't have to try to fix the situation. The only thing that you owe the person is honesty. You can simply say, you know what, this isn't working out. Thanks for your time. That can seem awkward, but if you're in a public place, you've got an out. They're not going to act a fool, at least hopefully, that much in a public place. So hit me up in the comments below and tell me how you feel about trusting your judgment. How did it work out for you? If it was in a dating situation, what was the person like and what kind of feelings were you having? I'd be interested to know your experiences. Number 8, don't use sex as an audition tape. Sex should never be used as a litmus test for dating someone. Hell, most of the times we have sex with a person for the first time, we're usually fairly awkward. You're always wondering what the other person is thinking. You're wondering if you're doing things that make them feel good or if you're doing things that are right. Should your leg be on the nightstand or should it be hooked around the bedpost? Does this light and angle make you look weird or is it just the bondage straps? But if you're on your first date and you do end up in the throes of sexual congress, remember these 3 important things. Foreplay, foreplay, foreplay. Sure, fine, I should be telling you to use a condom, but that should be common sense already. Foreplay becomes more important because it allows you to slow the activity down. It gives you a chance to watch the person react to the person, to see how they're reacting to things that you're doing and have them see how you're reacting to things that they're doing. It gives you a chance to kiss and make out and to see how that feels, a chance to touch and to explore and to learn the person. These are ways to find out if there is compatibility. However, if you feel it's moving towards a sexual situation, you can slow it down even further and just have that needed conversation. This is the time where you can actually talk about your sexual preferences. Are you into bondage? Do you have to wear a furry costume? Are you only going to have sex with the lights off and your socks on? These are things that you can discuss with them ahead of time so that you can see if you match up. I mean, nothing is worse than having a date, ending up in sex, and come to find out the person's into heavy bondage but you're not, and you both come to the conclusion that, well, yeah, we can make allotments because this seems right, and somewhere down the road he cheats on you because you're not offering him the bondage that he's looking for, or you end up wanting out of the relationship because he's a little more severe than what you're looking for. This is why those conversations are much more important. Well, I sent him a friend request an hour after our date ended. Why hasn't he responded to me yet? Does he not like me? Did he think I was a weirdo? I can see he's active online. Why won't he message me? Number 9, don't friend request them after a first date. Nothing can make that person feel more awkward than when they get home after the first date and they log into their various social media platforms and they see their inboxes lit up with a friend request from you. If you're like me, most first dates, I don't even know how they went or whether or not they were good. I put on my best behavior, I discussed the things that I know we needed to talk about, but I'm always left wondering how that person feels about the information that we shared. This isn't the time to rush out and automatically try to be their friends online. This is the point where it's probably best to hang back and wait for them to initiate conversation on the next day. Talk some more. Now, I'll give you a caveat here. If in the interim of your first date, you get to talking about social media and they tell you all the stuff that they're on and they want you to see things that they're doing, they want to share with you photos they've taken or blog stories about places they visited, and they ask you to friend request them, then that's different. that's definitely a thumbs up that says, I want to be your friend online and let's progress that way. But without that active invitation, it seems a little more like you're stalking them, and you can give them a much different impression of who you are. Hold off a day or two, a week, whichever feels better. Talk to the person the next day, meet back up and see if you both feel the same way about how the date ended. And then from there, you can talk about social media and the possibility of becoming friends on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or anywhere else that you're meeting people. And last, number 10, don't forget to take a break. No, this is not a line between Ross and Rachel from Friends trying to figure out if they were on a break or not when they were seeing somebody else. It's simply saying that sometimes you need to take a break from all the dating to be able to evaluate what has worked, what has not worked, or how you feel about the situations. Now, if all the other steps have gotten you to someone that you met, you went on your first date, you hit it off great, and they called you back and you're on your second, third date or whatever, then completely disregard number 10. And it's fine if you continue dating. It's still best to think about evaluating what you're going through. You don't necessarily need to take a pause from that person. Number 10 is more about taking a pause from the dating scene. If you've been out on multiple first dates with multiple different people and it doesn't seem to be working out, instead of constantly trying to set up another date to try to get to the place where everything is good, why not reassess what you've done? Look at how things have happened. What did you do on these dates? What could you have done differently? Did everything that you try to do go the right way but the other person was the problem? Evaluate what you've seen and how to move forward. This gives you a moment to think about those things and to plan for your next events, your next dates. Sometimes you just need to take a step away from things and to recharge your batteries. You could simply be burnt out from all these dates and there may not be a single thing that you've done wrong or even that the other person done wrong and you just weren't compatible. It's nice to step away and say, okay, that didn't work. What do we do next? And just give a moment for you to get back to center. And then you can start your dating routine all over again. And there you have it, 10 dating tips that will help you take a different look at the dating scene. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to click the subscribe button below and then hit that bell notification. That will let you know anytime that I put out any new content. If you're a returning visitor to my channel, make sure that you give this video a big old thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit me up in the comments below and tell me about any of the topics we discussed in this video and how they may have worked for you. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button. Then go ahead and hit the bell notification. That way, any new videos I put out, you'll constantly be aware of them as soon as they go live. If you're a returning viewer to my channel, go ahead and give this video a big old thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit me up in the comments below and let me know if you've tried any of these topics and how they worked out for you. I'm always interested in hearing how my videos relate to people that watch them, so please let me know. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.